What if you come to know that the most sought-after book on habits and success is actually a philosophical guide to transformation, acceptance, deep inner peace, a sense of purpose, and profound connection? Not just a framework for productivity, but a map for living. Beneath its simple language lies a deeper truth about who you are, how you think, and why you feel stuck. Because this isn't just about habits, it's about identity. It's about shifting from reaction to awareness, from noise to clarity, from survival to purpose. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Today, we're going to uncover what this book was really trying to teach all along. You wake up before the alarm rings, not because you're excited, but because your mind is already racing. Deadlines, projects, expectations, another day in the loop. You sit up, stare at the ceiling, and for a moment, a question hits you. Is this really it? Because somewhere deep down, you know, something feels off. You're working harder than ever, learning more than ever, trying to stay positive, trying to stay motivated. But the results? They feel temporary, fragile, almost like they could collapse at any moment. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people never confront. The problem is not our effort. The problem is not our attitude. The problem is our map. Because human problems don't change. Fear, insecurity, confusion, lack of balance, conflict, the feeling of being stuck. These are not modern problems. They are human problems. Then we miss something entirely. The difference between the personality ethic, surface habits, quick fixes, impression management, and the character ethic, deep values, integrity, and the courage to live from the inside out. And the solutions? They are not trends. They are not hacks. They are timeless principles. That distinction is the soul of the entire journey of your life.
Power of a paradigm. Now, here's something that might challenge the way we think. Imagine you're trying to reach a destination. You work harder, you move faster, you stay positive. But what if you're following the wrong map? It doesn't matter how disciplined you are. It doesn't matter how motivated you feel. If the map is wrong, you will still end up lost. This is what most people never realize. We try to fix their lives by adjusting behavior. We try to stay positive, work harder, push more. But the real issue lies deeper. It lies in the way they see the world. Our paradigms, our mental maps shape everything. How you interpret situations, how you react, how you decide. And most of the time, you don't even question them. You assume that the way things are is the way they should be. And from that assumption, our entire life unfolds. But every once in a while, something shakes you. A crisis, a failure, a new role, a moment of deep reflection. And suddenly, our perspective shifts. We see things differently. What once felt important no longer matters. What we ignored now feels essential. This is a paradigm shift, and it's one of the most powerful transformations you can experience. Because small changes come from adjusting behavior, but real, life-changing transformation comes from changing the lens through which you see everything. Habit 1. Be proactive. First and foundational habit is deceptively simple. Between what happens to you and how you respond, there is a gap. And in that gap,
lives your freedom. You are not your circumstances. You are your choices. Friends, this is not a modern insight. The Bhagavad Gita opens with exactly this teaching. Arjuna, overwhelmed by circumstances beyond his control, is paralyzed. And Krishna's first response is not a strategy. It is a philosophical foundation. You have the right to perform your duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. You cannot always control outcomes. You can always choose your action. This is karma yoga, the path of conscious, responsible action. This is what Covey called being proactive. The ancient name for it is viveka, discernment, the capacity to pause, to choose, to respond with awareness rather than react with fear.
Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. To define what our life stands for before life defines it for us. To live from a clear inner compass, not from the noise outside. This is our sankalpa, the sacred intention that precedes all meaningful action. Before a great undertaking, we state our sankalpa, our intention. Not a goal, not a task, a purpose declaration, a direction of soul. The Dhammapada, a collection of teachings of the Buddha, says, "You become what you think about most deeply." This is not the law of attraction as a shortcut. This is the deep spiritual truth that consciousness shapes reality, and that a life without conscious intention is a life lived by default. Quantum mechanics suggests consciousness shapes reality through the observer effect, where the act of observation collapses quantum possibilities, superpositions, into a single defined outcome.
Habit 3. Put first things first. The most famous time management matrix separates the urgent from the important. The insight? Most people spend their lives enslaved to urgency and starve the things that truly matter. Relationships, growth, reflection, prayer, creation. The things that are important but never feel urgent until it's too late. The Vedic tradition has a name for this disease, rajas, the state of restless activity, constant motion, noise without direction. And it contrasts this with sattva, the quality of clarity, harmony, and purposeful stillness, asking us to cultivate sattva in our daily choices, to protect what is sacred, to give time to what feeds the soul, not just what feeds the inbox. And this requires something the ancient traditions considered a spiritual practice in itself, saying no to what does not align. That is not rejection, that is discipline of the soul.
Habit 4. Think win-win. Covey teaches that most people operate from a scarcity mindset, as if life is a pie with only so many slices. Your gain is my loss. I must compete to survive. He asks us to shift to an abundance mindset, to believe there is enough, and to seek outcomes where both people grow. This teaching is ancient beyond measure. The Vedas declare, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, the world is one family. Not a sentiment, a cosmological truth. At the deepest level of reality, we are not separate beings fighting over limited resources. We are expressions of one consciousness, capable of co-creation. When you negotiate from scarcity, you contract. When you engage from abundance, you expand. This is why the great spiritual teachers, from Krishna to Rumi to the Buddha, never described life as a competition. They described it as an invitation to serve and create together. Win-win is not naive idealism. It is the most spiritually advanced way to do business, to love, and to live.
Habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is the habit of empathic listening, considered as one of the most rare and most powerful skills a human being can develop. Most of us, when someone is speaking, are not really listening. We are preparing our response. We are filtering their words through our own story. We are waiting for the gap so we can speak. In the yoga tradition, the practice of Shravana, sacred deep listening, is considered the first step of spiritual learning. Before contemplation, before meditation, before wisdom can arise, you must receive. You must empty yourself enough to let another's truth in. The teacher speaks, but the student's capacity to truly hear determines whether transmission occurs. And the reason it transforms relationships is because it is fundamentally an act of love. To listen, really listen, is to say, you matter more to me right now than my need to be heard.
Habit 6. Synergize. Synergy means that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That when two or more people bring their differences together in trust and creativity, something emerges that neither could have created alone. 1 + 1 becomes 11. Ancient spiritual traditions understood this not just as a management principle, but as a cosmic law. The concept of Sangha, the spiritual community, was considered by the Buddha as one of the 3 jewels of awakening, alongside the teaching and the teacher himself. Why? Because individual growth has limits. But when awakened beings gather, support each other, and create together, the field of consciousness itself is elevated. There's a Vedic concept called satsang, the company of truth seekers. It was believed that the energy generated in true satsang accelerates every individual's growth beyond what solitary practice could achieve. Covey's synergy is satsang in the boardroom. It is the recognition that difference, held in respect, is not a problem to manage. It is a creative force to unleash. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. The final habit is the meta habit, the one that makes all others sustainable. Our 4 dimensions of renewal: physical, mental, social, and spiritual. We cannot give what we don't have. We cannot serve from an empty vessel. The saw that never rests grows dull, and a dull saw doesn't just cut slowly, it cuts wrong. The personal disciplines include self-study and disciplined self-renewal. The daily practices of journaling, reading, prayer, movement, silence, service, these are not luxuries. They are maintenance of the instrument. You are the instrument through which life expresses itself. Neglecting that instrument is not efficiency. It is the deepest inefficiency of all. Sustainable greatness is not about pushing harder. It is about returning again and again to your source. Friends, when we look at all 7 habits together, not as productivity tips, but as a spiritual architecture, something remarkable appears. They form a complete path of inner development. Habits 1 through 3 build private victory, mastery of self, of intention, of time. Habits 4 through 6 build public victory, mastery of relationship, of trust, of collaboration. And habit 7 is the breath, the renewal that keeps the entire system alive. This is not accidental. This is the same arc that every great wisdom tradition describes. Inner alignment first, then right relationship, then sustained, disciplined renewal. The sequence is the same whether you read Covey, or the Gita, or the Stoics, or the Upanishads, because it is not a sequence someone invented. It is the sequence that life itself demands of anyone who wants to grow. The map has always been there. Covey simply drew it in the language of his time. So here is what I want to leave you with today, friends. You don't have to choose between personal effectiveness and spiritual depth.
They are not opposites. The greatest traditions in human history have always known that being truly effective in your work, in your relationships, in your life is itself a spiritual practice. Covey didn't write a business book. He wrote a map of conscious living. And the ancient sages didn't write in practical philosophy. They wrote the deepest guide to a life that works. They were pointing at the same mountain from different sides. The mountain is you, becoming the best version of yourself, not for status, not for performance, but because that is what you are here to do. That is your dharma. That is your sankalpa. That is what it means to sharpen the saw, and then, with a clear instrument and an open heart, to serve. Stay curious, stay soulful, and I will see you in our next exploration, where ideas meet art and art meets the soul.
If something in this story resonated with you, don't stop here, because understanding yourself is only half the journey. The real transformation begins when you learn how to connect, collaborate, and grow with the world around you. So next, if you want to learn how to truly synergize with the outer world and become the best version of yourself, not alone, but through powerful alignment, watch the next video on the right. That's where we take this deeper, from inner change to real-world transformation. Your next level isn't within you alone. It's waiting in how you connect.